You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What's going down, guys? It's your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Sorry you guys did not hear from me last week. There wasn't a lot to talk about. Well, there kind of was a little bit, but I guess if you had to blame somebody, you could partially blame Team Santa Monica, for releasing God of War. I'm going to dive into this episode, later down the line, so get ready for that. It's basically a non-spoiler review / just me wanting to talk about the glory that is God of War on the PS4. But for right now, let's move on and let's talk a little bit about a little news out here in these video game streets, guys. Like I said before, I apologize to you guys for not putting out a show last week. Sometimes it happens. Usually I do a show once a week, but sometimes things happen and I have to postpone the show. But typically, most of the time you will get it weekly. Every now and then you might get one, and I might skip a week, but for good reason. But anyway, let's talk about a rumor that is out here in these streets, floating around out here, and it has to do with one of my favorite first-person shooters, first-person games, period. And, I'm not a big fan of first-person games, but this is one of the games responsible for me actually getting into more first-person games, and that is BioShock, the BioShock series. Yes, there's rumors floating around right now, guys, that 2K, which is the company who is responsible for making this title, is out here ducked off in some corners, underground, cooking up some shit for the future. And look, if this is true, which I think it is, they're just very, very tight-lipped about it. I can't wait to see what they have to bring to the table with this game, man. You know what I mean? My favorites was always the first BioShock and the second BioShock. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. All the BioShock games were great. Those just had a special place in my heart, and I enjoyed them the most. That world, I guess you can per se, I think the very first world, Rapture, Underground, all of that shit, man, it just had a special thing about it, the atmosphere. And atmosphere is very important in the game. In any game, it's a bigger and more important than a lot of people think. Now, I've had a lot of people agree with me on that, and rightfully so, man. But yeah, BioShock, guys. So I guess we should be looking for that 2019. But E3 is around the corner, so I guess when that happens, we'll have a lot of goodies to talk about, man. Can't wait for E3 because there's going to be some things coming out, and want to get into those things. We're probably going to get our minds blown from somebody, and most likely, if I had to put my money on the table, I'm probably going to lean towards Sony, because right now they've been dropping fucking bombs for I don't know how fucking long now. All right, and there's a lot of Nintendo shit that's out there in the air as well. Speaking of games and things that are upcoming, I thought that I'd share a little bit with you guys about Xbox. I don't talk about Xbox a lot. In my opinion, Xbox has a lot of explaining to do, especially if, I'm an Xbox guy, but I'm not. I just feel that they owe the Xbox gamers more than what they've been doing. You know what I mean? They haven't been doing enough, in my opinion, as far as, you know, that aspect of it all. But hey, I'm just a guy who likes to play games, and I'm on the outside looking in when it comes to Xbox. And I have my reasons for not fucking with Xbox. And, you know, I'm a Sony guy, and that's just what it is. And, you know, there's a lot of PC gamers out there. They call them the elitists or whatever you want to call them. I mean, hey, you are what you are. You like what you like. I'm not going to hate on one man because he likes one system better than the other. I'm not going to hate anybody because they don't like Sony or they like Xbox over Sony. I mean, and a lot of people out here in these video game streets, they live their life by that fucking code. If they have a Sony and they are proud of their Sony, then you have Xbox fanboys who will come in and they will shit on it and they will troll and they will do things of that nature for no fucking reason. And hey, that's uncalled for, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Let that man or woman like what he or she likes. And that goes for any and every way possible. I mean, if you love Nintendo products, and there are a lot of people out there who do, and fuck with Nintendo hard body, that's cool, man. Let them do their thing. Let them love their Nintendo more than they love the other systems. That's just their prerogative. And, you know, hey, so be it, man. You know, a lot of girls, most women for the most part, you know, they like their handheld, they like their phone games, their iPhone or their Android, you know, games from the App Store. I mean, my girlfriend will fucking sit in the bed and she will play a fucking game for 4 hours like it was a PlayStation or like it was a fucking Nintendo Switch or some shit like that. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. That's what she loves. Hey, I'm not going to hate. You know, I've tried to get her to play, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. She chooses not to do so. And hey, more power to her for that. It's her freedom. It's her right. So I'll let that go. I'll put it to bed and I won't wake it until the next episode. But it is what it is, guys. And what I want to talk about is what Xbox is currently doing right now. Currently, they have an upcoming 8 upcoming titles they're, you know, previous titles for the Xbox. I think 360, I'm going to say, just titles, period, that are going to be available for backwards compatibility. Here's the list. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you guys real quick. The first game on the list is Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind. Classic game. Not gonna player hate that. Another game, the next one on the list, number 2, is Conker's Bad Fur Day, Live and Reloaded. I've always dug Conker's. Always, man. I just thought that whole thing was pretty dope, man. The way that they did that, the character, you know, how raunchy it was or whatnot. But that's number 2. Number 3, oh my God, Panzer Dragoon Orta. Now, if you guys don't know, you know, Sega, man, Panzer Dragoon, the series, the saga. I mean, I remember going into a game store. I think it was like I don't remember. I think it was a Fry's Electronics, man. And I remember going in there and seeing that game for the first time and falling head over heels in love with it. And, you know, I couldn't afford the system at the time, but that game was fucking beautiful for at the time. And it's a classic. It's a classic game. But this game here is going to be available, backwards compatibility unlocked for the Xbox. So be looking out for that one. The next one in line, we have Jade Empire. Man, that game brings back so many memories. I remember Jade Empire, man. I used to fuck with Jade Empire hard, motherfucking body, and it was a dope game. It's good to see these games coming to fruition, some of these classics coming out. And I wish, you know, that all, you know, developers would do this. This is one thing that I do wish that Sony would do for, you know, its players, is the backwards compatibility thing. Now, don't get it twisted. They do have certain games that they fuck with. They do have certain games that they will re-release. And, you know, you can find those at the, you know, at the store, you know what I mean? But, I just wish it would be like all previous games would be compatible. But, you know, politics and gaming, and when you break it all down and you drink all the water, the particles at the bottom of the glass, that's the shit we're talking about right there. And, you know, one person or one man or woman cannot change that. Together we have to come to some sort of stand and, you know, kind of demand some of these things, man. Backwards compatibility is a dope thing, and I wish every system had it. But hey, that's one thing that the Xbox does have, that they're working towards. I figure if you're gonna do it, why not just do it for all the games? But I guess it's a process in that, so that's what they're doing. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. But the next game in line, guys, is one of my all-time favorite games as far as sports games, as far as EA Sports or EA Big was concerned. If you guys remember EA Big, man, they were responsible for all kind of games back in the gap, man. Basketball, and one of my favorites, yes, why can I say this? SSX Tricky 3. Yes, this game was a fucking classic, man. I loved this game. I loved everything about this game. Just the way it made me feel, the melancholy of this game. It takes me back. The soundtrack was so fucking awesome. I love the soundtrack, man. And I just remember, I had so many hours remembering fun times playing this game, getting the songs, not being able to get them out of my head, the races. It was just a dope game. All the tricks, everything was dope, man, about this. All right, SS Tricky. All right, now the next one is Breakdown. Don't know too much about this game. I'm just giving you guys a rundown of some of the games. These are 8 games that are going to be available for backwards compatibility coming very, very soon. The next game after that, guys, is called Blinx, Blinx, The Time Sweeper. I don't know anything about this game. I've heard, whispers. I remember it vaguely, but, I'm not going to get into that because I don't really know. That's another title. And the last title, we have Hunter, The Reckoning. Now, I do remember this motherfucking game. Crazy, wild, my type of shit. And these are your 8 games right here. And these are the games that should be available shortly, man. They're working on it. And like I said, I don't know too much about the Xbox community and everything like that, but that's a pretty good thing. You know what I mean? I don't say a lot of good things about Xbox, here. I don't, I'm one of those guys that look, I try not to, say anything if I don't have anything nice to say. But, at the same time, you got to give props where props are deserved. And I have to give that to Xbox because this is something, that they can lean on, I guess, going forward. And hopefully, they get it together. But that's the news with the Xbox so far, what I have for you guys. The next thing that I really want to talk about is Dragon Ball FighterZ. We actually have, a new character. We have Fused Zamasu coming. And guys, it's going to bring me to talk about a little bit of a little frustration when it comes to Dragon Ball FighterZ, man, on the character selection type of thing here, man. The character selection to me is, man, it's not where it should be in my opinion. And I say that because there are other characters in this title, man, that deserve a spot, man. You know what I mean? I mean, you've already heard the rumors about, other Vegetas, other Gokus. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, Master Roshi, man, I think he deserves a spot. I mean, if you want to even bring it and say, well, who was all in, Dragon Ball Super in the tournament? I mean, Master Roshi was there. You can throw him in there. I mean, you got Boo in here, and Boo was not even in the fucking tournament. You know what I mean? So the most recent tournament, he wasn't in. So I don't know, man. If you're going to put the classic characters in, which you've done for the most of the roster, you got to put Roshi in there, man. And I hope that they end up doing that. And they end up putting him in the game. Another guy I want to see in here is Jiren. I've talked about this before. If you guys listen to my other podcasts, but I really want to see Jiren in here, and I really want to see Master Roshi in here. I just want to see guys in here that, need to be there. You know what I mean? Zamasu, Fused Zamasu does not have, in my opinion, enough history behind him to, be at least one of the first characters, added to DLC. I don't know what's going on, guys, with that, but I guess it is what it is. That's just my 2 cents on this character being added to the game. So, I guess we'll tune in and find out who's next and, where they're going to be going with this. We'll see. Hopefully they do release the final tournament that happened and some characters from there. And, I might be a little bit more at ease with that news, but we'll see. The next thing I want to talk about a little bit for a sec is this Dragon Ball Legends game. Okay. I've talked about it before. It's an upcoming game for the Android and iPhone. I think it's coming out for the iPhone. Don't let me get to lying about that. I know for a fact it's coming out for Android for sure. And it's called Dragon Ball Legends. And like I said, I don't play phone games. I don't play games on my phone. Not too many, like nothing like that. I've never gotten serious about a game on my phone. But this game here changes all that shit, man. The way that they've hyped this game and what I've seen so far of it, I mean, it seems like a pretty smart game. It seems like it's something that, you can really get into, man. And you can play people all over the world, and it looks very awesome. And some of the characters, it looks like they're going to have a shitload of characters in here too. That's what I also love about it. I mean, because I've already seen Mercenary Tail in this game. One of my favorite characters from Dragon Ball. Awesome character. But he's in the game, so I know like the rest of the main cast is going to be in the game. And then they keep showing us like new characters and shit, man. We keep getting new people. We got another character, and this character goes by the name of Zaha. I guess you pronounce it that way. It's spelled Zahhha. And basically he's a magical swordsman who was sent here by the space-time confusion, by some kind of time confusion. And despite his icy demeanor, which he's like, I guess he's like a cold-blooded son of a bitch, and he's a dickhead maybe a little bit, he steps in to help the heroes. So he's a dickhead, but he's not a bad guy. You know what I mean? I guess so. He's just kind of like Vegeta. I guess you could put it like that. But yeah, man, and they got pictures. You can check those out via Twitter, Facebook, whatever. I'm sure they're floating around. Google that shit. He looks pretty awesome. Looks pretty cool. I wonder who else they're going to add to the mix. They're creating all these new characters and shit, man, for this game. Who knows? Will they be part of the lore? Will it just be, characters kind of like how they did with some of the other series? It's just that they had prior, other games and stuff. I hope they do something with these characters more than just this. But look, this game has got me very excited. I cannot wait to play it. We get it this summer, and I'm ready. I already signed up for it. You guys can go to the App Store and sign up for it. I guess like a early sign up. The game is free, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm ready to play this shit. Something that I can finally play, on my phone. And, I'll probably end up playing it on my tablet. That's what I'll probably end up doing. So, yeah, man, that's just a little news for the Dragon Ball Legends game. Just had to put something of Dragon Ball in here. Trying to scrape up any information, about Dragon Ball that I could get, you know what I mean? And that's the news right there, guys, for that. Now, this brings me to the main topic of this podcast I'm going to talk about. I haven't had any real sleep in the past week. Actually longer than that now. Since Thursday night, I've probably been averaging maybe 5 hours of sleep a night. And that's if I'm lucky. Last night I got 3. Okay. Now, the reason that it has happened is because of one game. This fucking game. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out here in these video game streets have heard it already. You've already been to the mountaintop and you've heard these whispers. You've heard these screams. I'm talking about God of War for the PS4. This game is so fucking good. It's fucking 10 out of 10, man. I'm literally still playing this shit. Right now, my PlayStation is in rest mode so I can do this fucking podcast and get this shit out in these streets. Okay? This game I did not see it coming. Okay. Let me just start off by saying that. And, you know, I heard the hype. I read the hype. I've seen these videos and, you know, I wasn't ready to witness what I witnessed. I knew it was going to be good because people were saying it was this and this, but I thought it was that typical overhyped, you know, game where most games, let's keep it real with each other, they always end up just a smidge, you know, if any, just a smidge of overhypeness sprinkled on top, even if it's almost as good as everybody said it was, right? You get that overhypeness of it. So you play it and you're already expecting the shit to be just what you read about. And then you get it and it's like, yeah, it was good. It was, but it wasn't like that good. You know what I mean? And that's what I was going into with this game. I was going into it thinking that, you know, it's going to be close, but you know, I was guessing maybe 8.5 that off the rip, off the muscle. That's what I was going with. It was not that. This motherfucking game was 10.5. If I could give it over 10, I fucking would. All right. This game is officially my favorite PS4 game of all time. And that's saying a fucking lot because it knocked Horizon Zero Dawn off the top. And if you guys know me, if my friends know, they will tell you Horizon Zero Dawn is like the creme de la creme of the PS4 family, man. And really one of my favorite all-time games now on the list. Like it's making like that game was rivaling Shadows of the Colossus. All right. And that's my number one all-time favorite game ever. Okay. And this game here, it's tied. It passed up Horizon Zero Dawn, which was slightly below Shadows of the Colossus. And this one here is right on par. And I'm willing to even say damn near, if not better than fucking Shadows of the Colossus, man. This is my baby right here. I love this fucking game, guys. I've got over 90, I say 80 something hours in this game. All right. And counting, still playing it. This is the first game that I can even, I don't think there's ever been a game to where after I've beaten it, after I've done everything and there's still so much to do, I just can't stop playing it. I don't know what it is. I don't know because it's the beautiful graphics. I don't know if it's because of the story and the mythology involved in it. It's got me into wanting to get into mythology. It's just, I don't know, man. And now I see what everybody's been talking about. The hype is fucking real with this game, and that's putting it lightly. Okay, if you don't have this game, if you own a PS4 and you don't have this, you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself and you don't even fucking know it. This needs to be played by everybody, even if you don't have a PS4. Go to a friend's house or figure out a way to just taste it. Get your little taste, and I promise you, you will not be able to stop. Okay, I love this fucking game. I am a Kratos fiend now. Okay. He is part of my obsession. You know how I love Dragon Ball. You know how I love anime. Go ahead and put Kratos in this too. The mythology, the stories. I'm going back and I'm finding every God of War game, and I'm buying them and I'm adding them to the collection. And yes, this game is that fucking good, man. I'm telling you right now. Please don't get it twisted. Please pick it up and play it if you haven't. The game is excellent. One thing that, you know, kind of gave it, I'm not going to say gave it away, but one thing that I remember, you know, reading about and hearing about was the fact that they lifted the embargo on this game 10 days before the game was even released. That's fucking unheard of. I mean, I think the longest I've ever heard of an embargo being lifted was 1 week, but they went above and beyond that, 10 days. So they basically said, everybody, all the press, everybody all the YouTubers, all the reviewers, you guys, you can play this shit right now, 10 days before the game comes out, and you can put your reviews out right now whenever you're ready. That's telling you that they had complete and total confidence in their development team, their game from top to fucking bottom. We're talking about a complete game. I'm talking about the mechanics of the game. I'm talking about the writing of this game. I'm talking about the visuals of this fucking game. All of these things lined up perfectly. The beauty of this game is words cannot describe it. Some of the areas and some of the mythology and the lore, I'm a sucker for lore. I love me some fucking lore. That's why, Horizon Zero Dawn caught me, because it was a brand new IP. It was a brand new game. And it was, I was interested to find out all about Aloy and what happened to her and how she came to be. Beautifully written story. And the lore was just excellent. And this takes the cake. The design of the levels, man, oh my God, don't get me started on this. I mean, there's a stage in here where I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't had a chance to play it, man. All I'm going to say is just pick it up. Go fucking play this, please. Please. Play this fucking game, guys. All right. Please do it. The game, for people who don't know, the premise of the game is, and especially for those who are not familiar with Kratos and his exploits and the things that he did, Kratos is a god, and he's a very violent individual, man. He's been through a lot. He's seen a lot. He's basically responsible for killing every single god in his realm, including all the Titans, everybody, over vengeance. And he decides to get away from that realm, that world, and go to another one and, try to live a quiet life. Try to change, try to learn something. And he does, and he meets a woman and they have a child. Okay. And she eventually dies, the woman, his wife, I guess, if she was his wife. And that's where the story begins. She requested her ashes be spread off of the highest mountain in the land. And it was his goal, along with his son, to reach that destination. And all I got to say is the journey was so fucking beautiful. The journey was real. His words cannot describe how this transpires. The relationship with him and his son, trying to talk to him, trying to understand each other, all of these things. And there's so many things that happen on this journey, man, that, I would be wrong to talk about them. You need to experience it. The game is not out. It's been out, not even 2 weeks yet. So I can't, I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't had a chance to pick it up and play it yet for themselves. And maybe somebody's listening who doesn't know and wants to find out on their own. But I will tell you that you need to have it and you need to play it. I don't care if you rent it from a Redbox, because that's what I fucking did originally. Okay. I rented it from a fucking Redbox. I posted up at a Redbox at, 11:59, and it didn't show up on the screen. And I waited till 12:01, and then it popped up, and I took it and I got it. And, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to, have it in my collection and buy it. I was just going to test it out, play it. And I realized real quick what I needed to be doing. I needed to be taking my ass to GameStop or any place that video games are sold. And I needed to make that purchase. And I did that. And I'm glad that I did. Now I'm only upset that I didn't have a collector's edition ordered previously. Now I'm really pissed about that, because I'm a guy who, takes pride in those type of things, especially if it's a game I've been anticipating. I wish if I would have known what I know now, I definitely would have got me a copy, because those were immediately, those were gone anyway. But yeah, man, words can't describe this game, guys. And it just, you know what they're giving it? They gave it a fucking nickname. You know what everybody is calling this game right now? They're calling it the Xbox Killer. They're basically saying that this game is responsible for becoming the final straw that's breaking the Xbox owner's back. That's what they're fucking calling this shit, man. I'm not making this up, guys. I promise you I'm not. That's what people are saying about this game. When you have Xbox talking and congratulating these guys on this title, you know, it's, and you got Nintendo fanboys and fanboys of other places leaving reviews about this game, glowing reviews. I mean, I just knew it was a wrap. It was a fucking wrap. And then next month we got Detroit Become Human. We got Spider-Man coming out in September, and these are all PlayStation exclusives. The shit is written on the wall. PlayStation, Sony is here, and they're not going any fucking where. All I'm gonna say is this. I mean, if you're taking a shower and you get out and you're brushing your hair and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you wipe that steam off the mirror and you look at yourself. You take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror, and you need to ask yourself some questions, okay? And one of those questions is, what am I doing? If you don't own a PS4, you need to ask yourself, what are you doing? Okay? Because right now, especially if you're a true gamer, if you are a gamer, I'm not talking about a casual motherfucker who just plays Madden, plays board games, and plays games that are available in every system. Then you need to ask yourself these questions, okay? Because if it's all about games, you got to have a PS4. I'm not saying not have an Xbox, because there's some titles on the Xbox that are exclusive to them. They don't have many, but they have some. And, if you want those Gears of War titles, if you want those Halos, then that's definitely, needed in the repertoire. But the creme de la creme, when you're talking about first person titles that you need to have in your life, you got to have a Sony. Okay. You do. You just fucking have to have one. And this game here solidifies that. This game here is just awesome. It blows me fucking away. This is my favorite game, man. This is my favorite game, my all-time favorite right now. It is. And I don't think anybody's knocking it off anytime soon. This is one of those games. It's cemented in, as one of my most adored and favorite games now. It's up there with Shadow of the Colossus. Enough said. It's up there. It's there, man. It's already done. Okay. You have to, they set it up so good too. They set this shit up, the whole story from beginning to end. Even when you beat the game, when it's over with, they set it up, man. So lovely, man. You have to play it, guys. That's all I'm going to say. I had to do this podcast. I had to mention this title, and it's hard not to talk about it, because I know I'm not trying to spoil it. So there's just so many things I want to say, but I'm going to leave it up to the gamer on this to discover it for yourselves. Okay. I don't care when you get the game. Just do it. It can be 3 months from now. Just pick it up one day. Okay. This is that game. Even if you don't have the money right now, you're going to wait for the price drop. Cool. If you have some games that you don't really care for, trade them in. You won't be sorry. I promise you won't be sorry. Because as soon as I get off this podcast, guess what? Even though I know I shouldn't be, I'm going to jump back on the game for maybe an hour or two. And, I'm going to have to tear myself away from this game. Keep in mind, guys, I only had 3 hours of sleep and I'm riding on fumes right now. But all I can think about is getting my bald-headed ass back out there in those streets and getting into some shit in God of War. Okay? When I say bald-headed, I'm talking about Kratos because he's bald. But that's my dude. Okay? Straight up. Yeah, man. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for putting up with my over animated, vocabulary or feelings that I'm laying out here on this podcast about this game, about this title. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I'm amazed. I'm simply amazed. It took, it's kind of almost to a fault because it's taking my life. I'm like glued to the TV, man. I was like, yo, I just can't get enough of it. When I'm not out and working and whatever, I'm here and I'm doing this. I'm like, oh, I got other things I need to be, taking care of as well. Let me fucking just get away from it for a minute. It's not going anywhere. It's just so hard, man. And I'm trying to platinum it right now. And, I'm definitely ready for another playthrough when it's all finished. I'll probably take a slight break and then jump back, probably after I test out Detroit Become Human when that drops next month. But yeah, man, I mean, what else can I say? There's nothing else to say. Just thanks for listening. Thanks for coming back to the show. Thanks for listening. Sorry I've been away for a week. And, yeah, man. I haven't had time to do anything else. I haven't watched any anime. I haven't done any. All I've been doing was fucking playing God of War. That's it. I'm like 2 episodes already behind on My Hero Academia. I'm like, yeah, Boruto. Lord knows how far. I'm easily 4 episodes behind Boruto. So I need to get that caught up. So I'm trying to, wind my God of War playing time down so I can get away from it for a while and just get into some other things that I need to get into. But it's hard, man. When you got a classic like this, it's hard, man. But that's a good problem to have, man. It is. And I just want to say that. And I just wanted to share this with you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. That's going to do it for the show. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always hit your boy at Studio MacGyver on Twitter, at Studio MacGyver on Facebook. You can also hit me on Instagram at Studio MacGyver79 if you want to holler at your boy. With that being said, guys, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. I hope you come back. You have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.